Welcome to the MythBusters After Show. We are answering your questions about the explosion episode. First question, MacGyver or Hannibal from the A-Team?
I don't care.
I'm going to go with MacGyver by an edge simply because...
How you doing?
Among both shows, the A-Team and MacGyver, demonstrated many, many ludicrous things that were totally not possible, especially the A-Team.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
But MacGyver, many of the things that he did are actually within the realm of somewhat reason and often in the realm of totally doable. There's some hard science there, and for that reason, I go with MacGyver.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Let's clear the area. Let's start pumping.
All right, next question. I love how this was kind of a cement truck in reverse. Did that part of the story appeal to you? Oh, right, like cement preventing the explosion rather than making a giant explosion. That actually never even occurred to me.
No. There is a similarity though, and it seemed to be equally capable of causing destruction.
What I liked about this one is that I genuinely had no idea what the concrete would do. Like, if you encase 80 pounds of dynamite in concrete, wet, what will happen? My answer is I had no idea, and that instantly makes me interested.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Adam climbing in to sink the dynamite could have been a scene from MacGyver. Is that how it felt? Oh. That was, yeah, totally. No, I mean, it was one of those ones of like, you know, when push comes to shove and things are happening quickly, there's only a few options, and we just went with the fastest option. It was only afterwards I realized that we had kind of built a MacGyver sequence right into our MacGyver episode.
Right, I just remembered this is 40-some-odd pounds of TNT.
Yeah.
I also found out that you can get poisoning from the concrete.
Oh, that feels
Like, if you have a sensitivity, it's very alkaline, so you can have a skin reaction to it. Fortunately, I didn't, because I was rinsing off very quickly, but yeah. All right. Next question, will you guys miss explosions when you leave?
Ooh!
I don't see why we need to. Something tells me that even after we're doing MythBusters, people are going to call us up and say, hey, want to watch something blow up? And we'll be able to go, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually ended up using the same people that we have been using all along for work outside of MythBusters, doing R&D with,
Debt collection, that kind of thing. Next question. Did your landmine myth come from James Bond?
Yes.
Yes, it did. Also, James Bond or MacGyver?
Here we go again. Two entirely different sorts of beasts. I mean,
yes, so choose one. I mean, I particularly like oranges more than apples.
I like Bond a lot better myself.
Ah, well, there you go. That's an answer.
Okay.
We got an answer from Heinemann. This is perfect. I'm moving right along. Next question. Am I right that the only other time you've used hovercrafts on the show was when you made one way back when? Well, we didn't make one. We made two. In fact, I think we made three. I think I made one pad, and then I made a tripod, and then Jamie made the hovercraft surfboard.
Yeah.
That is the only other time we've used hovercrafts on the show.
I think so.
Have you ever ridden in one of those hovercraft ferries?
No.
Neither have I. Next question. Why didn't you test the myth where you step on a landmine and have to shift your weight safely to stop it going off? Do you know the answer to this?
Because that's...
There is no such thing.
That's a myth.
Yeah.
Yes.
This whole movie thing of like, oh, you stepped on a landmine. As soon as you move, it's going to go. No. No one's ever made a landmine like that. I mean, maybe some sick person has built one of those. And certainly some screenwriters have put that into movies. But there's no piece of military ordnance. Go ahead and write. I'm sure we're wrong. But we couldn't find it. A piece of military ordnance that only goes off when you step off of it.
Yeah, there's not really much upside to doing it that way.
No,
it's
it's
like,
just being cruel, right?
I guess. I mean,
Right.
it's leaving...
I mean, what should it play music?
Maybe you could do the Indiana Jones thing with your
Yeah,
weight or
exactly.
something like that, but there's no advantage if you're, making a mine, your intent is to blow somebody up, so
Right.
why mess around with it?
Also, to be clear, I don't mean to be dismissive. I seriously, when we started doing this episode, we've talked about landmines on and off for a couple of years now. I specifically wanted to test that kind of mine because I thought, well, there's all sorts of stuff you could do with the mechanism. It's probably not as difficult as the movies make it think. I'm sure you could dismantle it. And lo, we went and researched and found that they don't exist. Building landmines. Cool.
Yeah, not so much.
No. In fact, actually, I mean, this episode was entertaining to us from a scientific standpoint, talking about pressures and talking about distribution of force. And the field that we built was cool. It used a lot of some of our movie techniques. But frankly, the whole idea of mines is just, it's the worst idea ever.
Yeah, I mean, not that it's ever nice to kill somebody, but it's such an indiscriminate thing. I mean, like, why would you possibly want to leave something able to kill children that had nothing to do with whatever your beef was?
No, I know. And just to talk about the progression of warfare, because we've researched some very old weaponry, it turns out that there was actually a lot of arguing among the ancient Greeks and even before over whether archery was actually a sporting way to war with each other. That they considered, there was a whole faction that considered hand-to-hand combat was the only way you should be allowed to kill people, because that is, you are directly operating against each other and it's a fair fight. But an archer with someone like 20 feet away, that's not fair. And so when we were researching old ballista and stuff like that, it turns out that there was a lot of voices saying this was not proper fighting. Now, fast forward all the way to today, and there's a lot more unfairness in the world, and absolutely, as Jamie says, it's never okay to kill people, but mines are most often killing people who not only have no dog in the fight, but it's sometimes decades later.
Yeah, it's stupid. I'd go for the swords myself.
Yes.
Get rid of everything else, but issue everybody a sword. You know?
That
It's
would
like,
be so awesome. I'd wear a different one every day. Next question. The Ditch Witch was awesome. Is it fun to use?
the fact that that the device has these little claws that are like a chainsaw, it's bringing up small particles of dirt, and it's easy to shovel. It's something like, how else would you get that from the ground?
Yeah.
Normally, if you use
You use a big scoop, you have big scoops of
you
dirt.
got big wads, chunks and lumps and things like that. It's not. It makes great potting soil.
Right. So the hole is not only useful, but what came out of it is also.
Yeah. They're a tool that I think that company is probably the only one that makes it. And maybe there's somebody else out there that does, but
I can attest, he was very happy using that all day. Next question. Are you excited to be getting into the world of virtual reality? I like reality itself, personally. But yes, actually, I mean, the idea that fans could experience within reason what it's like to stand on a MythBusters location and look around and see what we're working on, that's pretty awesome.
yeah, and there are all sorts of things that you can do with them, like, the drone flying, for example.
Absolutely.
Having a very accurate representation of where you're at remotely with that it will allow you to do a lot of things.
Absolutely. Last question. If explosive spectacle is to be your legacy, what explosion are you most proud of and why? I would have to say, I think the most beautiful explosion I personally have ever caused was my clown wig explosion when I was attempting to paint 6 canvases with a single explosive. That high-speed shot of the multicolors of paint all moving outwards towards my canvases in a cloud is absolutely without parallel.
Yeah, and I think that episode stands high on my list as well. That thing that I got to make, the
ball of death?
The ball of death, that, what it produced was just sort of eerie.
Yeah.
It was surreal. And in both cases, we made something that was we created something rather than just destroyed things. I think that's, you know, having destroyed so many things, you know, it's actually, I think in total, I find it more interesting to try and make things instead of destroy them.
For instance, and by the way, if we could choose a legacy, I would choose demonstrating the scientific method every week on television. That's our last question. That's our after show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. Sorry, man.